With the announcement of Season 8 of Game Changer on Dropout, I thought I would take the time today to distract you from all of the
chaos, carnage
in the world and instead dive into the character that is Brennan Lee Mulligan, because he is the most wholesome, non-toxic representation of masculinity that I think I can find on the internet. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome to Matriarchetype. I will be your goddess for today because we are going for a little bit of positivity today. I'm working on something huge in the background that I will talk about at the end of the video, but it's very negative. So I just want to have a kind of fun episode. Let's get into why I think Brennan Lee Mulligan is such a great form of masculinity.
Dimension 20, Dropout, make some noise. The podcast, Worlds Beyond Numbers, going great. Bunch of fun projects. And the greatest project of all, my wonderful family, with my wife Isabella, Roland, who we're going on tour with our improv show Bigger this spring, and we also welcomed a new baby into the world whose name and face we are sitting on until such time as she can speak in English and say that she's cool with us sharing that.
Now, I have not been too on the scene of like college humor and even Dropout, really. I'm quite new to the game. If you haven't heard of those two things, they create some form of content. They have been around on the scene for quite a while, and a lot of the cast members and the staff from college humor went into Dropout. I believe there was like a kind of merger or something. I'm not sure. I will look into that. I want to do another deep dive on Dropout itself, but that's going to come another day. There's a YouTube channel, but also their streaming service. It's the single service that my husband and I pay for because we don't have Netflix, we don't have any other things. Dropout is the one thing that we got hooked on because of the Dungeons and Drag Queens series, which I will talk about later in this video. It has been so long since media really hooked me in, and the Dungeons and Drag Queens D&D series was phenomenal. I have never actually watched a series of Dungeons and Dragons until this point. I had semi-played it once with my husband, but we just kind of run out of like steam with the campaign. So I was kind of semi-new to the entire world, and it blew my mind. It has Bob the Drag Queen, Monet Exchange, Alaska, and Jujubee as the 4 drag queens in this campaign. There's 2 seasons currently, and we watched the entire thing. Ending made me cry so much, honestly. Anyway, so that's my kind of introduction to Dropout and their content. If you haven't seen their stuff, go and check it out. There's a new season of Game Changer coming. They have an array of amazing other programs, and I found this creator recently called ADL Presents, I think, or something, ADL something, and he did a fantastic deep dive on it.
But this guy keeps showing up.
Brennan again.
Brennan Lee Mulligan.
Fairly small channel. Go and check his video out. It's fantastic. I will link it in the description below, but it goes into like the lore a bit more than what I can do. Anyway, who is Brennan Lee Mulligan? Well, I assume you are aware of him if you clicked on the video today, but he is one of the cast members. He is such a wholesome and hilarious and intelligent character and cast member in the series that I thought that he deserves his whole entire own video. There's so much I agree with his politics and his progressive way of life that I thought we would cover him today.
This may not be a surprise for a kid that memorized a lot of animal facts. I was horrendously bullied in school. Put into trash cans, kicked around the playground.
Sure.
Bad look, bad time. And I was taken out of school. So my education was, I went to a Waldorf school for preschool.
Okay.
K through 4, and by the end of 4th grade, the bullying was bad enough that I was taken out of school, and I homeschooled for 4 years.
So to touch on his early life, he's obviously from America. He comes from a history of doing Dungeons and Dragons in his spare time. He dropped out of secondary school or high school in America for being bullied so harshly, and then eventually ended up going to college as early as like 14 or something crazy with his brother. It's a really adorable story, and I've seen it in his interview with Hank Green. But he talks about how he did LARPing camp, where you do like role-playing game and summer camps and stuff. He's always had this connection to fantasy and role-playing, and to be seeing him at the vanguard of how Dimension 20, Dungeons and Dragons, Critical Role have all blown up, to see him enjoying his hobby made work, it's just such a wholesome thing to see.
When I talk to people that are like, so what's going to happen in 5 years with this? And what do you It makes me want to shake them and go like, do you think I could have predicted any every part listen, I am endlessly proud of the work that our cast and crew do. I will hold up our standard of work to anybody. If we zoom out, who would you have been to 10 or 15 years ago have predicted that performed Dungeons and Dragons would be the next thing? So for all the people out there that are trend watchers or trying to predict the future or trying to create art in conversation with the market, I think my career, I look at my career, I look at the career of the people I respect, and I go, that is not it. You got to honor the freaky little light in your heart, because how could you predict the shit that ends up happening?
I think in an ideal world, if anyone is capable of working, they would be working on something they truly love, and it wouldn't be warped or forced in capitalism to mean that they have to make money and that changes anything about what they would do. They're doing something they love. Like, I love making content on YouTube. I love what I do, doing my hair and makeup and talking about something that I'm passionate about and putting it out there into the world and reading all the comments. I would do that. I do it basically for free. Let's be real, at my size, we don't make much money over here. But what I do make, I'm incredibly impressed by every time. I'm like, oh my God, I make money to do what I do. So I'm very lucky and very grateful. And you can see that gratitude shining through Brennan in everything he does as well. So with regards to masculinity, which is a very socially constructed concept anyway, so I'm not going to go too much into what that really means. It's kind of just a vibe. So we're going to have to just kind of go on vibes today, folks. I'm so sorry. We have a proper intellectual deep dive video essay coming in the pipeline, so just bear with me and humor me with this one. But for me, as any form of a parent, what you're doing to a child is to teach them knowledge, teach them about the world, and teach them how to live and be happy. I can see his storytelling character really shine through.
When I am with someone who is looking for something that I have and I can give it to them, whether it's knowledge about how to do an improv scene, whether it's knowledge about how to write an adventure game, whether it's knowledge about how to run a game of D&D, the look on someone's face when they get it and it becomes theirs as well.
Oh, it becomes,
and you know, because that's the whole thing, where it's like lighting a candle. Like, the lighting of a second candle does not diminish the first. Knowledge is something that when you share it, there's just more. There's no scarcity.
Right.
And watching someone learn is one of life's greatest joys.
For me, I think that's such a fantastic form of masculinity, or even just being a parent, which we will get to. But when he talks about like sharing knowledge and teaching people and seeing that light shine in their face when they learn something new, that he's imparted knowledge to them, I just think that's such a wholesome thing, and he does it so well to not be patronizing. I don't know, maybe it's the splice of autism that my husband and I also have, so maybe we get it, maybe we see it from the inside. My husband is also the same. He loves sharing animal facts, mushroom facts, bug facts. He enjoys finding out that he's spreading knowledge and someone else has learned from that. So I can completely see the same vibe in Brennan.
Can I ask, I assume this is true, but I believe I'm in the company of childless men. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right.
You would
Jesus Christ, man.
He just daggered that. I have 2 cats. He's flexing his semen on us.
Yeah, cool. Not the same, but cool.
Talking about being a parent, Brennan Lee Mulligan has 2 children as of now. They recently just announced the birth of their second child, and his wife is also a cast member on Dropout 2, Izzy. They are the cutest couple I think to exist in modern day life. I really love how, as a couple, neither of them outshines the other, and they are both capable of being large personalities that have their own humor and success and characters without one of them kind of encroaching on the other.
The coveted golden ear, which is fucking sick as shit.
Wait, they have a 2 out of 3 chance of going home with it.
That's true.
That's true, Erica. Well mathed.
But I have a secret apartment that I have affairs in. So I can bring it there.
We don't have an ear for that apartment. Izzy for short, Ostentatia for long. It's Isabella Roland. Mr. on 3, Lou on 6, Wilson on 9.
To see Brennan and Izzy work together, which must be stressful and involve another level of fatigue and heightened awareness that your like wife or your partner is on stage with you, for them to still be boosting each other, making each other laugh, bringing each other's jokes to the forefront. Like, I just think it's a wonderful trait, and Their relationship seems, from the outside at least, parasocially, I'm watching this from the sofa and thinking they seem really happy and in a good place. Some of the description that he talks about how he met Izzy and fell in love with her could be most rom-com film.
And we got married and had a baby.
Tell me that isn't a Reese Witherspoon film with Anne Hathaway playing the lead role, moving to New York, not loving it, come back, running into his arms. Like, it's idyllic. I think it's wonderful. And I'm sure there's more to behind the scenes. We all have that with most of our relationships. But at least the relationship that they represent on camera and what they've shown to the world is just so wholesome and lovely.
I found out that I would be going full-time at the end of the week as a cast member, and that's the same week that me and Izzy Roland started dating. Hard to beat week.
There it is.
Hard to beat week, gang.
You don't know how it's gonna go.
You don't know how it's gonna go.
And to bring it back to the Manosphere, I just think his representation of loving his wife unabashedly is the antidote to the toxic Manosphere that we are all craving. Because yes, Hassan Piker, he's a good representation of masculinity, but he's also single and he's living his life and he's streaming every day. Whereas I think it's really healthy to see a representation of being a loving partner, being a loving parent, and Brennan does that just so well, so naturally.
The thing in my life that I'm the most proud of and the most grateful for is and my child.
He talks unabashedly about being in love and loving his partner, and often we see in the Manosphere, like the recent Louis documentary and deep dive in the Manosphere, they all seem in such unhealthy relationships. They're either single, they haven't got a wife, they don't know how to look after a partner or be married, or they're in a relationship that you can just get bad vibes from the outside. So for Brennan Lee Mulligan to just be someone that is so clearly in love and happy to be in love and supporting his partner, I think is such a great representation of what being in an adult relationship actually is like.
Brennan, more than anything else in the world, wants to be a renowned dungeon master.
I don't think that's what he wants more than anything else in the world.
I also, I think that is false.
It is false.
Brennan wants more than anything in the world to be a dad.
Daddy!
And in the same vein, Izzy is such a fantastic female archetype in herself. She is loud. She's not scared to take up space. She's hilarious. She is over the top in all the best ways.
What's 6 plus 13?
19.
I had, no, yeah. That's not true.
6 plus 13?
6 plus 13?
Is 19.
Oh my God!
Sam says, share some gossip, starting with Brennan.
Okay. How about, oh, no, that could end a relationship.
Ours.
They even have a show together called Bigger, which is also available on Dropout, and it's wonderful. They're doing improv together on stage, and the chemistry that they have is just incomparable to most people. So well done, Izzy, too. I love you so much. Gal, if you see this, you want to deep dive as well, I will absolutely do you next. Shines yet again whenever he talks about his 2 children. I'm currently working on a big project where, let's just say, the person that I'm talking about, if they were to have children that were LGBTQI+ or transgender specifically, they would not have the same reaction that I'm pretty sure Brennan Lee Mulligan would have. Brennan Lee Mulligan is the kind of parent that you would want if you grow up and find out that you are transgender. So supportive, so present, and so understanding. You would be safe in the understanding that your parents are going to love you no matter who you become.
So attaching them to your body,
drag.
Sometimes it's so easy to be so deep down in the anti-trans movement, like I am, especially for a lot of the work I do on here, that I forget that that is the standard that we should all just be living as people that aspire to be parents. If you want children, if you want a family, that's just the bare minimum to just accept and love your children. I mean, just the bar is low, people. The bar is so low. The reason I have grown up and become the person I am today is because I had a family that loved me and supported me no matter what. And there are elements where I still take that for granted. There are highs and lows of all families, I'm sure. We see so much pushback against children who grow up and say that they are a certain type of way and their parents can't understand it or their families kick them out. It's happening so much that we forget that that is something that is just, it should be uncomprehendable. It should be inexcusable. They should be shunned as parents for doing such. If you have a child and you bring it into this world, or you look after a child, or you're in the care of anyone, you should love that person for who they are. If they are a certain person, if they grow up to be a certain thing, then you should love them for who they are. Different to actions and what they do out into the world. There is certain lines that can be drawn there, but being yourself and being who you are literally harms none, unless you have a glass view of the world, and it's usually based in religion, but we'll get to that another day. Let's not bring religion into this video. Although probably Brennan would love that. I'm just not smart enough to do it.
There's a great book on raising emotionally intelligent children that talks about the fact that what we call the terrible twos is every single thing that kids do that you would perceive as like, oh, that's rough behavior to deal with, is always the thing they're working on. So when you think about a 2-year-old being like, oh, they're selfish and they're saying things are mine and they don't want to share toys and they do this other stuff. The great psychologist who basically talked about saying, hey, you have X amount of years as an adult of knowing who you are, knowing what you want, and knowing what you can go without, or the pleasure that you can defer till later.
Interesting.
All that shit doesn't exist in a 2-year-old yet. Yeah. So the project is they're building a conception of self from scratch.
Man.
So all that shit is like...
I thought they were just little assholes.
But it's like, you gotta, before you get to sharing, they're literally like, man, I'll get to sharing.
Yeah.
I'm figuring out which toys I even like right now. So you gotta give me some space to be like, is this mine? I'm not saying it to be an asshole. I'm literally figuring out what mine is.
Okay,
like,
so it seems to me like you're one of those new age woke parents. Instead of teaching them early on, Praise Your You is on, on the TV at all times.
Brennan also talks about how his style of parenting will be so much more progressive and so much more non-toxic than what we're used to. And I imagine people in the Manosphere, if they were to have children, how negative that would be for the child and how damaging the upbringing will be. So having someone like Brennan Lee Mulligan and his parenting style is just such a breath of fresh air. Speaking of Hassan Piker, Brennan also kind of manifested this because the original clip, he was talking to Adam Conover, I think it was, Adam something, about how Hassan Piker on the left is just a sin eater for all of the negativity. He's kind of the only strong left Twitch streamer out there and is kind of on his own and no one's helping him.
Hassan Piker, the fact that he is so, like, the other top streamers around him politically are like all conservative.
Yeah.
He is truly like a sin eater for the world. Just like, I'm just looking at like, he is like the ones who lift weights in Omelas. He is like fucking...
I know what you're talking about. Yeah, no, we've cursed him to sit in that room, sit in that little room of his and watch MSNBC all day long, 10 hours a day. He makes 150 grand every time he does it, but he cannot leave his little room.
Yeah, what is he doing with the 150 grand? He's got to be in front of the computer for 8 hours again tomorrow.
The rest of the house is empty.
Grabbing kids on the way to the Manosphere alt-right pipeline and shunting them off into the left. Like, no, get back.
And I think it was that clip that got him on Hassan Piker's radar, or it was Hassan Piker's chat that kind of pushed him to be on the podcast. And so now we have this wonderful, really wholesome episode of Fear and where Brennan is the star, and Brennan talks about his politics. He is a complete lefty.
My very first protest as a kid was protesting the Iraq War and having a sign being like, this is for oil. And it's wild to 20 plus years later have JD Vance go, you understand this is for oil, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's just fucking naked.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you understand how much oil they have. We have to go get it.
He's for socialism. He is a part of Dropout, which has a profit sharing model, which we'll talk about later. So he's also, I think, in a political sense, such a great shield against the Manosphere that is so pro-capitalism and everything it does. We see this with all of the main figures in the Manosphere. Andrew Tate is all about money and the grind and the mindset and clavicular, streaming everything in his life, even going on a date with a girl and not having any emotional connection or intelligence. So to see Brennan Lee Mulligan being a hardworking person nonetheless, but still so pro-left, so pro-socialism, so for everyone having their needs met is just such a breath of fresh air as well. And there are times when I'm so knee deep in the right trying to do research for stuff that I have to just pull myself out and realize that, hey, that's not how everyone thinks. That isn't the popular mindset, actually. More people agree with leftism and the policies of leftism. That's why it's called populism. But they maybe just don't even realize it. They don't know what communism actually really means or socialism actually means.
It's crazy to watch people see something unhinged, and you watch, I love now in this, especially this in Trump too, the like the gear turn moment where someone has to figure out why they like this.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
watching someone
Yeah.
who was like, I don't know, eggs are expensive, be like, yeah, man, I fucking hate Denmark and love conquering Greenland.
Yeah.
And just the gear spin of figuring out, how do I get behind this nakedly insane thing?
Eggs are gay!
Eggs are gay!
So having someone like Brennan Lee Mulligan that talks about the actual policies behind these things and what it really means, and kind of breaks away some of the stigma of words like socialism and communism, I think is so positive. And I think we've seen this happen with the Zohra Mamdani of it all, the socialist democrat rebranding of certain elements of it. So I think that is in the process as well. But I would love to see more people like this going forward, hitting mainstream, so that the things they say just become commonplace. Like wanting everyone to have healthcare shouldn't be a controversial take. Not wanting to go to war with Iran and threatening to wipe out an entire civilization, but then not having any money to feed your own people, it should be considered absolutely batshit crazy. Not me having to just wake up and read the news about a potential genocide in Iran, nuclear war, and I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna do some makeup. I'm gonna do my makeup and hair, wave my husband goodbye, make a coffee, and talk about TV for an hour. What is my life? What is life? I can't. This is meant to be the positive one. Sorry. Positive one. If you know, you know. I also just wanted to add the point that we've really seen a move away from celebrity culture in the past decade, if not more so the last few years. I don't want to say downfall, but the moving away of popularization of like the Kim Kardashians, the Kardashians and stuff like that, celebrity culture. We're seeing so many celebrities coming out to be really bad people. I believe that we're seeing a lot more people move towards characters on YouTube. YouTube went crazy in 2020 during Corona, during lockdown and everything. People moved towards supporting their favorite creator online on YouTube. There is more of a connection between them. Hassan Piker is an example of that. I don't think that we are in the same celebrity bubble that we used to be in the 90s and 2000s. When I grew up during the girl power movement, it was all about your favorite celebrity. The idea that you could talk to them was just not on the table. And if they did anything bad, unless it was in the magazines next week, you wouldn't know about it. Whereas now we're seeing a lot of celebrities coming out to being quite bad people. And we're quite rightly not going to want to have to support them. For an entire company like Dropout to exist, that has such fantastic representation and equality, and it's a profit sharing model, you can see it putting its money back into its own staff first and foremost, and also projects like the ADL video essay also mentioned.
Every new season of a Dropout show and every new Dropout show that releases always ups the bar, and I am constantly stunned by the way in which this company puts all of its money into making sure that its expansion is worthy. Yes, they're making more money, but you can see where that money is going. It's going into the production, it's going into the set, it's going into this shared profit model that by all accounts really works for all the people who work for Dropout. Speaking of all the people who work for Dropout, there are all these behind-the-scenes stuff as well that you get as part of paying for your Dropout subscription. Game Changer, Very Important People, all of these have behind-the-scenes shows where you get to see the directors, the crew, the cast, adventuring parties at the end of the Dimension 20 episodes, where they shout out everyone who was involved in the creation of the show, who made the battle sets and the projections, and who helped with the game design.
For better or for worse, with the parasocialness of it all, we are way more connected to the people that we watch and support. And Brennan Lee Mulligan is someone that we have seen enough of his character to know that we are safe in his space. And I think that's something really important that people don't understand. Like J.K. Rowling and the HBO reboot of Harry Potter, we do not want to support her as a person now, alive, spending her money on what she is spending it on. And people don't seem to understand that. Corporations and CEOs don't seem to understand that. We get to choose. There is power in what we do and don't purchase. And the minute that they see that we realize that, everyone starts to panic, and then it becomes like, separate the art from the artist. And I did a recent video about it that did really well, actually. Thank you so much if you watched it and you've stuck around. I really appreciate you. So many people were like, you can't separate the art from the artist. She's alive now. She's taking the profits from what she's gained from this project. She's going to spend it on bad things. So you can't just separate the art from the artist, which is an entirely different thing from like Tolkien, who is long dead and was probably really problematic, yes, but he's not going to do anything about it now in his grave, is he? Dropout has earned our trust. And Sam Reich, who runs the whole business, has a level of respect and trust that he has accumulated himself.
And then getting the call from Sam Reich, our beloved friend, when he was like, do you want to come work at College Humor full-time? I'm going to be a cast member.
Yeah.
changed my life.
I've seen from interviews and backstage stuff that they pay fairly, they profit share everything, and they even pay for like auditions, which is outside of the scope of what's usual in the industry. We're brought up with so many industries that already coexist in our lives that it takes us a long time to realize how bad and toxic they are. But we have to be the ones to change that. But the business model of Dropout gives a sense of longevity as well. Like, it's going to be here a long time. It's sustainable. It's ethical. People are happy. You can see the staff are happy. There are clips where people know each other's names in a way that we just aren't used to seeing in this kind of entertainment industry. And I think it's fantastic. If they change the standard and they make it so undeniable that what they're doing can be replicated, then maybe it will ripple out and we'll see this successful model happening across the board. Wouldn't that be wonderful? Wouldn't it be great to see more businesses like Dropout, more co-ops and profit sharing models, and more people saying, hey, I don't want to be rich and all my staff not be able to afford medical facilities. So let's make changes that we want to make. I think that's a wonderful thing. I think I'm going to wrap it up soon, but if you want to know more about Dropout, or if you want me to cover Dropout in its entirety, then I'm absolutely happy to do so. I've been watching it enough now that I'm confident to be able to talk about it. And I think it's a really positive example, as is Brennan Lee Mulligan and his non-toxic masculinity. If you haven't heard of him and you've clicked on this anyway and you watched this far, first and foremost, thank you so much. But do go and check him out. I think he's a wonderful character, or at least of what he puts out into the world, which of course might be different from the real person. We're all susceptible to that, but from what he's put out anyway, it's a very fantastic character that he is. So go and check him out and support him if you can. Look forward to the next season of Game Changer if you are a watcher of Game Changer. I personally love what do my husband and I watch? We love Make Some Noise. There are episodes of Make Some Noise where we are cackling along to the point we have to pause, because if you miss the prompt, you have no idea what they're doing. It becomes very abstract. So we have to pause, laugh for about a solid minute before we carry on. And it's fantastic. I can't speak it enough. And Sam Reich, if you do see this, hey, sponsor me, baby. You talk about this until the cows come home, and I'm pretty sure that my viewers are going to love your channel. I'm pretty sure if you like me, you will like Dropout as well. So if you haven't checked it out, they've got a lot of free content on YouTube as well. Go and check them out. I'm sure I don't need to tell you that. I'm sure the reverse will be true, and people have heard about Dropout way before they've heard about me, but still. Okay, I'm going to wrap it up there, folks. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I love you all so much. I have got something big planned. Bear with me. It's taking me a little bit longer than I thought. So I thought I would just kind of drop this one out as a little bit of a positive episode. But the next one will be heavy, but it will be worth it. And it's going to be hopefully the best thing I've ever made. So stick around for that. I love you all so much. Take care of yourselves in these crazy and turbulent times. Be safe, and I will see you in the next one. All my love. Bye.